Alright, welcome everyone to leg 4 of the World Tour. We're here in the Dalles, Oregon, and we'll be flying south around Mount Hood, Mount Jefferson, the Three Sisters, and into Crescent Lake in that scenic part of Oregon. Before we get started, let's take a quick look here at some of the flight planning that was done before we came out here to the aircraft. So I'll pull out our Sky Vector charts, and we pull it up on the screen here. You can see what we're doing today. We're going to be starting up here at the Dalles, right on the Columbia River. Current weather right now, it's a little windy. Winds are 300, 13 gusting 23, but pretty much right down runway 31, which we'll plan to depart on. VMC conditions other than that. And you can see between the Dalles and Crescent Lake, we have these red boxes. Those are temporary flight restrictions, and it looks like both of them are due to firefighting in the area. So we're going to avoid those areas, and what I was able to do is look at the en route IFR charts. There's a fix here called HOOD, H-H-O-O-D, which we can put in our GPS and will allow us to have a fix that we can plan going to. But I'm just going to use visual aids, and we're just going to go on the west side of Mount Hood and then fly over Timothy Lake. Whoops, I want to do that. Fly over Timothy Lake and stay on the west side of Mount Jefferson, the Three Sisters, and we'll stay clear of any temporary flight restrictions. So with that being said, let's go ahead, let's hop in the airplane and get this aircraft started so we can get out of here on time. Alright, cold and dark here in the plane. We'll go ahead and pull up the checklist and we will zoom through getting this aircraft started. So pre-flight inspection, aircraft documents are checked, park and brake is set, ignition off, avionics switch bus 1 and 2 off, battery switch on, fuel quantities are full, low fuel left and right annunciator off, avionics bus 1 and 2 on, avionics cooling fan audible, avionics bus switch 1 and 2 off, stack pressure alternate source valve off, annunciator panel test, fuel selectors on both, and fuel shutoff valve is open. Pre-flight inspection, and let's see, flaps down. The pitot heat, we'll check that it's on and working, let the flaps go on down, there we go. Looking for a bump in the ammeter there, we got it. And pitot heat off, battery switch off, elevator trim, we'll put it at neutral. There we go. Pre-flight inspection in the cockpit, check complete. Before starting engine checklist, pre-flight inspection complete. Let's go ahead and look outside the aircraft and just get an idea of our surroundings. Looks like we have a person, a ramper right in front of us, but we'll I think we have plenty of room to maneuver. Maybe out here to the right and then around him. Alright, pre-flight inspection is complete. Seats, belts adjusted and locked. Electrical equipment off. Avionics switch bus 1 and bus 2 off. Fuel selector both. Fuel shutoff valve open. Before starting engine check complete. Starting engine checklist. Throttle open 1/4 inch. Mixture idle cutoff. Propeller area clear. Clear prop. Battery switch on, beacon on, mixture rich, auxiliary fuel pump on 3 to 5 seconds and then off, so we'll flip it on, get our fuel flow bump there to 3, there's 3 seconds, so it's off, mixture back to lean, and we have our feet on the brakes and we'll go ignition start. So good start, mixture's rich, and we'll pull our RPM back to 1000 here. Alright. So starting engine check complete. After starting engine check, Throttle adjust to 1000 RPM. Oil pressure's checked. Alternator on. Alternator indicator is off in the annunciator panel. Ammeter's checked, it's charging the battery. Avionics switch bus 1 and 2 on. Radio's on. Transponder to standby. Oops, there we go. Flaps up. Heading indicator set. Looking at just a little, maybe 127 on the magnetic compass, and that's what it's showing on our heading indicator. Altimeter, we need to get the latest weather here at the Dalles. Let's do this the way you would, one of the ways you could do it in real life, by looking at the sectional chart. So if we look at the sectional chart here and we zoom into the Dalles, the ASOS, which is our automated weather here, 135.175. So I'm going to go ahead and tune that in here to COM 2. 135. Yeah, it'll be 3517. 135.175. Alright. And we'll pull up COM 2 there, and we should be able to hear it.
Kilo Delta Lima Sierra automated weather observation 2300 Zulu. Wind 256 at 8. Visibility tree. Sky condition few clouds at 600 feet, few clouds at 4,300 feet, few clouds at 12,500 feet. Temperature 14C dew point 10C altimeter 3017.
Okay, 3017. So we'll get that set here. 3017. And another quick check we can do in our pre-flight is look at our airport elevation here on the sectional chart, and it's showing 247 feet right there. Try to zoom in. It's on that far left corner of the bottom line, and we're pretty close, so we'll stick with the altimeter setting we had there, 3017. Alright, put that off, and let's continue. Altimeter set, attitude indicator set, after starting engine check complete, and taxi check. I'm going to do this. Get the taxi light on as we go, landing light as we go. I'll go ahead and turn on the nav lights. Strobes are going to turn on before takeoff, and we'll test the brakes, rudders, turn coordinator, and heading indicator and compass on taxi out. Before we go, let's take a look at where we're going to taxi. That's always something that's very important to do before you leave the ramp area. And honestly, you could do it before you even get out to the plane, but let's discuss that together really quickly. So we are currently located right here where my mouse is. So we're going to need to take a right turn on this taxiway right in front of us and to the left, and we'll continue. We'll take the third right all the way down to runway 31. Looking for a 310 heading when we line up. Mountains beyond 5,000 feet approach runway 31, and birds in vicinity of the airport. We'll keep that in mind. And 123.0 is the common traffic advisory frequency here. Nothing else that we're really going to need to keep in mind, so I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And I just noticed I don't think you all got to see that. Let me pull that up. I'm sorry. Forgot, I didn't get the window transitioned correctly, so I'm going to do that for y'all. If it'll work. Alright. And I don't think it's going to pull up. That's okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and begin our taxi here. So brakes coming off, taxi lights coming on, and let's begin. We'll watch out for this guy to our right. If any of you do want to join in on the flight, just hop on into Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're starting at the Dalles Airport, which is Kilo Delta Lima Sierra, and love to have you along on this flight. My screen name is Cron321, so if you see me in the live map, feel free to join in at any point. I think you can join me even when I'm in the air. Alright, so like we briefed, we're taking the first right, heading down toward runway 31. And I set our heading bug to runway heading of 310 just to help us with situational awareness. So all the turn coordinators turning like it should, the heading indicator and the magnetic compass are, and the brakes are working. So our taxi checks are complete. And one thing I might want to do is announce what we're doing. So let's select runway 31 for departure, and we're going to depart to the south.
Kilo Delta Lima Sierra, traffic Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, taking off runway 31 south departure.
And I set our nav mode here to GPS, since if we were going to use it, it'll be the GPS. It sounds like it's a quiet day out here at the Dalles. Windsock's looking pretty calm, so that's matching up with what the weather was reporting, 250. And it looks like it's only at about 5 right now, because each color usually designates about 5 knots of wind. So the orange is out and extended, so it's a little over 5 knots. Alright, don't see anybody on final. We're going to do our run-up check here really quickly. So I'm going to pull this up right here and set our parking brake. Turn our taxi light off since we're not taxiing at the moment, and let's perform our run-up check here. So start at the top, parking brake set, pilot and passenger seat backs most upright position. Seats, belts, check secure. Flight controls. Let me pull this down a little bit here so we can see it a little better. And flight controls are free and correct. Everything feels good. Flight instruments set. Fuel quantity indicators checked. Mixture rich. Fuel selector both. Autopilot engage. And flight controls move against autopilot, it's disconnected. Autopilot off, throttle set to 1800 RPM. Alright, there it is. And we'll do our mag check, looking for not more than a 150 RPM drop and not more than 50 RPM difference between the left and right magnetos here. But everything looks good there. The vacuum gauge is in the green, oil pressure and temperature in the green. So each of those items is good. Let's check the idle. Ammeter and annunciator panel also good. So idle looks like we're settling between 600 and 650 RPM, which is perfect. Back up to 1000 RPM. Run up check complete. Before takeoff check, Radios are set, avionics set, nav GPS switch set, transponder on out, autopilot off, elevator trim, we need to set that for takeoff. Okay, set for takeoff, flaps at 0 degrees, cabin windows closed, locked, parking brake will release in just a minute. And for our takeoff, we're going to be departing kind of to the south and west. We're just going to be trying to stay on the west side of Mount Hood, and initially going to climb up to 4,500 feet. We'll make our way to 8,500 feet at later on in flight, and we'll rotate 55 knots, climb out at 70, and we'll be aware of the terrain off the end of the runway. Have any problems, we'll come back to land here. Alright, so we're ready to go. Don't see anybody on final. Nobody's on the runway. Let's depart.
Kilo Delta Lima Sierra traffic Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha taking off runway 31 departure to the south.
Alright, turn our landing taxi and strobe lights on. And we'll make sure we don't hit these taxiway edge lights. Do not want to hit those. Runway 31's on the pavement. And looking for a heading of 310 when I get us on the center line here. And everything looks good. Here we go. A little bit of a left crosswind as we take off, so I'll turn the yoke very slightly into the wind. Engine instruments are all in the green. So make sure I try to keep this on the center line. Airspeed's alive. There's 55 knots. We'll rotate. And aiming to climb out at 70 knots. So there we go, and we'll pitch for 70 knots. Definitely pretty dry in this part of the state. And I need to look at a map. I feel like the Columbia River, I know down to the south it's definitely Oregon. I wonder if the airport's actually in Washington State. But who knows. Well, let's go ahead and do our left crosswind departure here. So I'm just going to get our right wingtip right there aligned with the runway heading. You can see we're pointed right at Mount Hood, so perfect. We're just going to try to go on that right side of the mountain, which is the western edge, which will keep us clear of the temporary flight restrictions for the firefighting activities going on. But nice day out here in Oregon. Be a great day to be out on the Columbia River doing some boating. Get a quick exterior view here. Yep, Mount Adams up there in Washington State. Yeah, it'd be pretty crazy if they could model forest fires in these games later on. I know my radar app I have tracks where the fires are, but They definitely are pretty prevalent out in the western part of the United States this time of year. And definitely have an effect on flight operations too, as we're trying to simulate here today. So for those of you just now joining, I'm going to pull up the sectional chart courtesy of skyvector.com, free service, which is available for all your navigation needs here in Flight Simulator. And like you can see, we have temporary flight restriction on that southeastern side of Mount Hood up ahead, so we want to stay on the western edge, and then farther south as we head toward Mount Jefferson, we definitely need to stay on the western side of the mountain. And then after that we can really go where we want, but I'm just going to keep us to the west of the Three Sisters until we get down to Crescent Lake. Look up to 4,500 feet for our initial cruising altitude. Really some interesting topography around here. Those valleys down there to the south. Then Mount Adams to the north. This is a really beautiful part of the country to fly through. Let's set our altitude target there in the altitude selector. Getting a little bit of turbulence right here, but it's about 800 feet to climb. I'm going to see if we can get some flight following.
Seattle approach Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha is type Cessna Skyhawk 3 miles southwest of 6 Oscar Romeo 2. Request flight following.
Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha Seattle approach. Squawk 2755.
The wrong number in there. 2755. There we go.
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha radar contact 4 miles southwest of 6 Oscar Romeo 2, 3,900 feet. Altimeter tree 0.15.
Copy Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha.
3015 on the altimeters, so there we go. Looking good. That certainly was a fun flight down the Columbia River yesterday on our way from Portland to the Dalles. Definitely a flight I'd recommend to any of you if you're just looking for some cool scenic routes in the sim. I think you can take pretty much any aircraft down it. It's pretty low altitude, so don't really need a whole lot of climb performance. Okay, here we are at 4,500 feet. So I'm going to level us off and we'll accelerate to our cruise speed of around 120 knots. And I was contemplating using the new Coronado Cessna 182 Turbo. If y'all would like me to show you that aircraft sometime, let me know. I might fly that in one of these flights. So some of you that are thinking about getting that airplane, you can check it out for yourselves. Alright, I'm just trying to trim the nose down as we accelerate here. And I'm going to pull the throttle back to around 2400 RPM. still have a little bit of light chop at this altitude. Like I said, we gotta stay on the west side of Mount Hood to make sure we stay out of the firefighting TFR. There are a few clouds up there to the north in some of those valleys. But it is bone dry in this area today. Alright. Let's turn off our landing and taxi lights. We don't need those anymore. I think we might have a power line just here to our right. I think that's what this cleared area is. Let's see if we can pick that out on the sectional chart. Do some of our navigation here. So I'm going to take us back up here to the north, up toward where Mount Hood is. And yep, you can see the power line right there. I'm just going to follow the power line basically until we get to the west side of Mount Hood, and then we'll cut down south. So we're going to go by a town of Parksdale. Looks like a railroad track goes in there too. So cool. We'll look for those ground features as we fly this route. Yeah, I must say this sim is excellent for doing VFR flying because you really can make out a lot of the ground features that you need to have in order to do some real VFR flying. And I can see it would definitely probably be useful if you were taking actual flight lessons, your private pilot's certificate, and wanted to practice your cross country before you actually get out there. Beautiful views there, really pretty little river down there. But there's some excellent fishing on that river. Wow, Mount Hood is just incredible looking.
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha, contact Seattle Center on 126.6.
126.6 for Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha. Seattle Center, Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, 4,400 feet.
Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, Seattle Center, continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.16.
Alright, 3016 on the altimeter. There we go. Oh, wow, looks like there was some lava maybe that was flowing off of Mount Hood at some point in the past. That definitely looks like an old lava flow. Wow, that's pretty incredible looking. Kind of want to see if surely they show that on the sectional chart. Let me look again. Here, I'll pull it up so all of us can look together. No, they don't show it on there. but huh, that's incredible.
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha contact Portland approach on 124.35.
124.35 for Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha. Portland approach Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha 4,500 feet.
Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha Portland approach continue as planned. Altimeter 30.16.
All right, back up to yep, 31 or 30, 16 on the meters. Okay, I wonder if wow, so maybe the Hood River down there, from what I can see on the sectional chart. And there's the power line cutting down to the south. We're going to follow that. And head down on the west side of Mount Hood. Very cool. Alright, we're going to be clear of all the TFRs on this side of the mountain, so I might get us in a little bit closer to Mount Hood so we can do some inspection of what these large mountain textures are like on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And I'm kind of shocked we don't have any clouds or any sort of weather being created by these mountains this late in the afternoon, but I don't know if my live weather's not working correctly, or it's at least partially working because the altimeter settings and wind have been there. Just it is absolutely clear out here, which maybe that's normal for this part of the country. Okay, we're going to go ahead and climb on up now to 6,500 feet as we attempt to get a little closer to Mount Hood. And we have now been able to see this mountain on the last 3 legs of this world tour. It rises up to 11,299 feet, so very impressive mountain. I guess a view outside the airplane here. It's down to 55 degrees Fahrenheit outside the aircraft. I think I see Mount Jefferson out in the distance now to our south. So we also are going to want to stay on the west face of Mount Jefferson. As we get there, make sure we stay out of the firefighting areas. Wouldn't be surprised if you see some smoke if you're out in this area in real life. And yep, there are the clouds out closer to the coast today. I'll get us in fairly close to Mount Hood so we can check it out. Some beautiful mountain lakes. And we're coming into the Mount Hood Wilderness area now. The FAA requests but does not require you to be 2,000 feet above ground level in the wilderness areas. So, you know, in real life, yeah, you'd probably try to stay 2,000 feet above whatever ground you're flying to. But we're in the sim, and it's only a request, not a requirement. So we're gonna fly pretty close to the ground here in this wilderness area as we approach the slopes of Mount Hood. And I'm going to continue our climb here for a little bit. Might get us up to 8,500 feet or so.
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha, contact Seattle Center on 126.6.
Going to 126.6 Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha. Seattle Center, Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, 7,400 feet.
Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, Seattle Center, continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.16. Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha, contact Portland approach on
Oops, let me resume.
124.35.
Okay, they're handing me right back.
124.35 for Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha.
Must be right on the boundary of the air traffic control areas there.
Portland approach Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, 7,800 feet.
Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, Portland approach, continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.16.
Alright, still 3016 on the meters. And that looks like that would be an impressive mountain to climb. I wonder what face of the mountain the climbers typically go up. It looks pretty difficult no matter where you are, from what I can see. Very
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha, contact Seattle Center on 126.6.
Going to 126.6 Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha.
So we just got the road trip achievement, whatever that is. Alright, let's contact Seattle Center.
Seattle Center, Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, 8,300 feet.
Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, Seattle Center, continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.15.
3015. So this side of the mountain is very bare compared to the north side. Alright, so we're at 8,500 feet. Might take us back down here in a minute, just to
Horizon Air 2267, contact Portland
get
approach
us a
on
little bit closer to
124.35.
the scenery.
124.35 for Horizon Air 2267. Alaska 688 descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
Just keep our heading bug right about here so we can kind of keep track of the general area we want to be in. We do not want to end up east of Mount Hood. There's a TFR out in that area right now.
Maintain 5,200 feet. Keep speed below 210 knots. Expect ILS runway 28 right approach via Schaffer transition. Cleared to Schaffer. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Alaska 688. Descend and maintain 5,200 feet. Keep speed below 210 knots. Expect ILS runway 28 right.
Alright, so we want to go
Cleared to Schaffer southwest.
over Timothy Lake out here, which is just to the left off our nose. That'll keep us away from any of the temporary flight restrictions.
Descend and maintain 4,600 feet.
Well, I can see this lake
Southwest 908.
right over here. To the east of that is where
Horizon Air 2820,
we have
you are
the TFR taking
19,100 feet above
effect.
your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Descend and maintain 4,600 feet southwest 11905. Alaska 688, you are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000
Did you say 20,000 feet above assigned altitude? That's pretty bad. They probably ought to check for hypoxia there.
10,000 feet southwest 908.
20,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Horizon Air 2820.
Well, they responded at least.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Alaska 688.
I'm going to just send us down into some of these valleys so we can check out some of the cool scenery up close again. And it definitely looks like it gets dry again as you head to the east out of these mountains. Very lush and green in this area. And Mount Jefferson looms in the
Southwest
distance.
908, you are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude.
And that's our primary way of navigating on this flight today. We're just navigating mountain peak to mountain peak. So, something we can do when the weather is this nice.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet southwest 908.
Let's keep us a steady 500 foot per minute descent, somewhere around in there. There we go.
Horizon Air 2621, you are 59 miles east. Descend and maintain 5,000 feet. Keep speed below 210 knots. Expect ILS runway 28 right approach via Schaffer transition. Cleared to Schaffer. Horizon Air 2820, contact Seattle Center on 125.8. Horizon Air 2621, descend and
Okay,
maintain
next up is
5,600
Timothy
feet.
Lake
Keep speed
off
below
the nose
210
here.
knots.
We pull that up on our sectional chart. So, you can see Timothy Lake right here. That's what we're looking at up to our left. And we'll have a power line that we'll cross just to the south of that. But we're right on track. Everything is matching up with the sectional chart.
4,400 feet. Descend and maintain 4,400 feet. Horizon.
Man, it looks like it's getting foggy in some of the valleys out there to the east.
5 contact Portland approach on 124.35. Alaska 688 contact Seattle
So
Center
I have to keep an eye on that. Make sure it looks good up ahead though.
Horizon Air 2621 descend and maintain 5,000 feet.
We got our OBS set up here. Looks like our direct track is 179.
Descend and maintain 5,000 feet. Horizon Air 2621.
So we have a good idea of where we are in relation to the original direct track.
Southwest 11905.
Which we have to stay out here to the east because of the TFRs. There's a dam.
Southwest 909
Timothy Lake.
Contact Seattle Center on 128.15.
Yep, we can definitely make that out here on the sectional, VFR sectional chart there. So we're right in this area.
Descend and maintain 4,400 feet. Horizon Air 2621, you are 42 miles east. Descend and maintain 4,400 feet. Keep speed below 210 knots. Expect ILS runway 28 right approach via Schaffer transition. Cleared to Schaffer.
Yeah, it looks like the fog is starting to form in the valleys up ahead now too, so we might not want to get much lower than 6,500 for now. Don't want to get caught in a valley in some fog right at this moment. It's not widespread, but it definitely looks like it is building. Alright, there's the power line that we just looked at on the sectional chart just south of Timothy Lake. And that must be some of the Three Sister Range down there to the south of Mount Jefferson.
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha contact Seattle Center on 128.15.
128.15 Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha.
Alright, there's our cruising altitude for right now, 6,500.
Seattle Center, Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, 6,500 feet.
Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha Seattle Center, continue as planned. Altimeter 30.14.
Alright, 3014 on the altimeter now. That is set. And we are well underway. That's really cool looking with the fog and the valleys back to the east. Really cool. Mount Adams, Mount Hood, Mount Jefferson, and Three Sisters. Not sure what the name of this mountain is, but apparently it's at up there. I think it's at 7,215 feet though. It does not have the name marked on the sectional. Alright, let's check the TFR status. Those temporary flight restrictions you're looking at. So we should be south of that first temporary flight restriction when we pass the power lines south of Timothy Lake. So next up, there's another set of power lines just off the nose here. Once we get south of that, that's the next TFR starting point, and as long as we stay east of Mount Jefferson, we'll be good. We'll be looking for some lakes right in this area. It's kind of we do not want to be to the east of those lakes or Mount Jefferson. There really aren't a whole lot of airports in this area, according to the sectional charts. So I mean, if you have an engine problem or you got to put the plane down, I mean, I guess you're just kind of looking for a somewhat open area. But all those areas look pretty rocky. But you just gotta make do what you have. I'm going to turn us a little farther to the east here. So there's the power lines that we were using to help know when the next temporary flight restriction starts. So it's going to be over in that area. I believe that was once for firefighting as well, which can't see the smoke in the sim, but I'm sure it's there in real life. I'm going to take us down to the valley now, and we're going to follow this river. So here we go. We're going to get the mixture rich, and we're going in. We're going to do some kind of crazy maneuver in here. Try to make this fun. Keep us right. At the about 130 or so on this airspeed indicator. And this river is clear of the temporary flight restriction. The temporary flight restriction is going to be on the other side of the mountain ridge to our left, so we are in the clear here. We're just going to kind of enjoy getting to see just how incredible this mountain range it really is. We don't have any of the fog in this area, so another reason I was definitely willing to get down in here. So we'll climb out now at 70 knots.
Horizon Air 2083, you are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, generic 4 Delta Delta. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Horizon Air 2083.
I think we're just gonna have to do a little bit of a circle here to get our altitude back. Might be able to, I'm gonna go over here to the left side of the valley. Just gonna do a little circle around here.
Generic 4 Delta Delta, contact Seattle Center on 125.8.
Wow, this is really cool though.
125.8 for generic 4 Delta Delta.
And we'll just climb out this direction, make sure we stay safe. I think we could get around there with the river, but we were running out of energy. So we'll continue now around this way. And there's Mount Jefferson. So yeah, you could get trapped in that little area where we were. It's like a box canyon or something. Get in there, and if you can't turn around, you're gonna slam into the mountain. and it's going to take a long time for someone to even get to your wreckage. Alright, Mount Jefferson now. There it is with the various lakes. Looks like there's a glacial lake maybe down there to the right. That's really pretty. Try and get us a good view of it here. Check that out. That's really cool looking. Wow, that's really cool. We'll continue our course now toward the Three Sisters up ahead. We're slowly making our way down to Crescent Lake. Take us up to 8,500 for a bit. It's a really cool lake, kind of on the slopes of Mount Jefferson. It's pretty high altitude too, right on the edge of a pretty steep drop-off. Another beautiful mountain lake there. It looks kind of bizarre out there to the east. Alright, there's 8,500. That's where we're going to level off for right now. And accelerate.
Alaska 461 descent and maintain 10,000 feet.
Hey Miguel, what PC setup do I use? Great question. I actually, so I purchased the CPU off of eBay, kind of piecemeal parts together, and I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I'd have to look up the specs on the graphics card, but pretty decent setup. And then I just hooked up an old TV I have, an HD TV for the monitor, and I have a joystick that I use right now. I want to get one of those honeycomb yokes in the future. Really would love to try that out, but don't have one at the moment. And also the throttle quadrants. But yeah, the Thrustmaster joystick is the one I have right now. I can't remember the actual model number. I'd have to look for it, but it works just fine.
125.8 Alaska 461.
Just back to 8,500 here. Yeah, the PC setup I had, Miguel, it was a power spec CPU that I picked up, and I read kind of mixed reviews about it, but really it's been just fine for me. I had to go in and adjust the BIOS a little bit, which there are plenty of videos and places online where people will tell you how to do that. But once I had everything set up, I've had zero issues with this CPU, so it's been perfect for flight simulation. I was running X-Plane 11 quite a bit before Flight Simulator 2020 came out, and had no issues with that either. The thing is, Flight Simulator 2020 actually seems to run better than X-Plane 11, but I think it's because they stream in a lot of this scenery, and I'm sure they found some other ways to use all the cores in the CPU. Alright, I'm going to set altitude and heading. Set it right about there. Just out here over the Mount Jefferson Wilderness area. This Black Butte is out there. I think that's what that mound is called, according to the sectional chart.
Alaska 507, you are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Alaska 507. Alaska 507, contact Seattle Center on 125.8. for Alaska 507.
That is a very jagged peak. Alright, let's pull up the sectional chart again so we can get a little bit of an idea of where we are at the moment. So we passed Mount Jefferson, and we're out here in the, oops, I want to do that, out here in the Mount Jefferson Wilderness area. It says numerous small lakes. So there should be a road off to our east. Santiam Junction State is coming up 8 Sierra 3, which we do see there on the GPS. So we're somewhere here in the Mount Jefferson Wilderness area. And should have the 3 sisters coming up soon. We have the North Sister at 10,085 feet. Actually, the South is the highest of those 3 at 10,358. cool. It's showing we're only 55 nautical miles away from our destination now, so not too much longer left in this flight. But certainly some beautiful scenery. Well, that's pretty interesting over there. Hold up, let me take us over here to the right side of the aircraft. Look at this. It's kind of a, looks like a crater. Huh. That is really interesting. Santiam Junction State back up there too. A lot of these mountaintops are a little bit cratered out. There's been a lot of volcanic activity in this area over the years. Three Sisters coming up.
Alaska 513, descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
Redmond, Oregon is somewhere out that direction in the valley to our east. That is see if we can see Redmond. Can't quite make it out, but it's somewhere out there. And this looks like a lava field, basically, that we're flying over right now. An old lava field. Maybe those are cinder cones that we were looking at back behind us. But you can really see it from this altitude. There's a lot of lava in this area.
Alaska 513, you're 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Alaska 513.
Yeah, I'm guessing you can't do a whole lot in that area down there. It's just lava rock. And that is what it's showing on the sectional chart. check that out again. So you look here in the Mount Washington wilderness area, which that's Mount Washington. That looks like it's completely blown apart here, just off to our left there. It just says lava in this entire area here. So cool. Not something you get to see every day on a VFR sectional chart. But Mount Washington is not looking nearly as impressive these days.
Delta 1386 descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
Alright, the Three Sisters coming up.
Descend and maintain 10,000
And try to take
Delta
us
1386.
right here, kind of between them and some of the little foothills to the east, to the west of them. This is pretty cool. Hold up, I want to look at this on the outside. You can see some of the lava went right up to this lake area here. I guess it just ran out of steam. No pun intended, but just stopped right there. That's pretty cool. And it looks like there's been some volcanic activity up by the Three Sisters too, and the North Sister. Definitely some cinder cones and other things in the area, and looks almost like something you'd see out toward Hawaii.
Delta 1386, you are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Alaska 513, contact Seattle Center on 125.8. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Delta 1386. Going to 125.8, Alaska 513.
And it's definitely foggy back to the east. So I'm glad we came this far, or back to the west, I'm sorry. I'm glad we came this far east to do this route so we could get to see all of this stuff. Three Sisters. It looks like the lava just kind of flowed down into that valley and down to that lake too. Alright, so here we are now at the North Sister, summit of 10,085 feet above sea level. And the Middle Sister showing 10,047 feet above sea level. And then the South Sister right down here at 10,358 MSL. And then Mount Bachelor all by himself down there to the south. So they got pretty creative when they were naming these peaks, obviously. So you have the Three Sisters and then the Bachelor down to the south. Pretty cool. And Mount Bachelor's at 9,080 feet. So that's pretty funny. Never noticed that on the maps before, but that's pretty cool. It has a sense of humor. Alright, we'll look at the sectional chart again. Mackenzie Bridge State is off to our right, and you can see the three mountains we point out: the Middle Sister, South Sister, and Mount Bachelor down to the south there. It looks like we'll have a couple more peaks, and the Crane Prairie Reservoir, Davis Lake, and Waldo Lake, and then Crescent Lake. So we'll be looking at these lakes to help us find the airport and where we're going. Crescent Lake looks like the common traffic advisory frequency is going to be 122.9. Field elevation there 4,810 feet. So that'll be the highest elevation we've landed at so far on this world tour. Pattern altitude is going to be at 5,800 feet. So I'll plan to do a midfield flyover of the field winner, a midfield downwind, and we'll land. I'm not sure which runway I'm going to land on quite yet. Let me see if there's anywhere close by that has weather information. I don't see anywhere yet other than Sun River up here. So 128.325 is their AWAS. So let's tune that in. Let's see what the weather's doing up there, and maybe we'll get an idea of what the wind is. Zoom in a little bit so I can see that. Let's wait. 325. Sun River. Well, maybe they don't have the AWAS modeled here on Flight Sim. Okay, that's fine. Wow, look at the backside here of the south side of the South Sister. Extremely red looking. And a lot of these mountains here on this area. I kind of wonder what's going on over there with Mount Bachelor. It's like, almost looks like a bunch of ski slopes down the side. Who knows? Okay, so we're about to intercept our direct track to Crescent Lake State. You can see our CDI, course deviation indicator, is starting to move into the center. So we will follow that toward the airport when it centers up. I'm going to switch to nav mode on the autopilot, and you can see we're already in GPS here. So I'm going to turn us on track. It's going to be about 179. And nav mode is armed. And looks like the autopilot just completely
Alaska 584
started diving.
10,000 feet.
Wow. Let's see how this. I think it'll get so stable.
10,000 feet, Alaska 584.
There it goes. Alright, so we're about 25 miles out. We're going to start monitoring the CTAF frequency, which is 122.9. I'm going to monitor it here on COM 2. So there we go, 122.9. We'll monitor it and just see if we hear any traffic on the CTAF frequency.
Alaska 584, you are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Alaska 584.
Yeah, so this is definitely it's kind of wilderness area. Not a whole lot out here. Really for most of the flight, but we've definitely seen some really cool things. We've seen some lava fields. And so the Three Sisters and the Mount Bachelor. And here we are coming up on all the lakes. So just off the nose and to the left is the Crane Prairie Reservoir. And I'll pull up the sectional chart so we can look around, kind of figure out the area where the airport's going to be located. So as we look here at the chart, you can see we're coming up on the Crane Prairie Reservoir right here, and then looking off to the right we can make out Waldo Lake out in that area, and then the mountain range. We're going to kind of be left of the mountain range, and then at the south end there around Maiden Peak is going to be Crescent Lake State. So we're getting pretty close. So it's right down in that area if what I'm looking like is correct, and looks like that agrees with the GPS too.
Southwest 1670, descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
Looks like there might be a few clouds down toward the lakes down there too.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet southwest 1670.
Looks like more lava fields maybe off here to the east. Let's take a look out there. It's kind of what it looks like, maybe.
Southwest 1670, you are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
And there's Waldo Lake out there to the east.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet southwest 1670.
And we'll be going in kind of close to Davis Lake down there, and you can see Maiden Peak
Southwest 1670, contact
right
Seattle.
here, and the airport's just on the other side, according to the sectional chart. I've never flown here before, so I'm coming in blind.
125.8 for Southwest 1670.
Alright, 10 miles out, I'm going to make a position report for any traffic in the area. And if anybody wants to hop out and create some traffic, you can get on Flight Sim and go to 5 Sierra 2 Crescent Lake State Airport. Diamond Peak is over this direction too. So, okay, I'm going to turn off the autopilot. We're going to go ahead and begin our descent into the airport here. And like I said, our power altitude is going to be 5,800 feet. So we're going to come in right here near Davis Lake, off to our left of the nose. And according to my airport facility directory, let's see, what runways do we have there at Crescent Lake? Looking at a runway 13 and 31. So I'm going to guess we're going to be landing on runway 31. So let me go ahead and put that in the heading bug so we can keep track of that. Alright, let's go ahead and make our position report. We're within 10 miles now. I need to cancel flight following if I can. Yep.
Seattle Center, Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha, cancel flight following.
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha, Seattle Center, cancellation received. Squawk 1200. Frequency change approved.
Ah, I didn't
Seattle
mean to
Center,
do that.
Cessna November 215 Romeo
I accidentally
Alpha is
hit
type Cessna Skyhawk
request
7
flight
miles
following.
northeast of 5 Sierra 2. Request flight following.
Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, Seattle Center. Squawk 4265.
Squawk 4265 Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha.
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha, radar contact 7 miles.
Hey, at least we can get the
northeast of 5 Sierra 2,
local altimeter setting, right? 3011.
altimeter 30.11.
Copy Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha.
Now I'm going to cancel
Seattle
it.
Center, Cessna 5 Romeo
Keeping
Alpha,
this controller
cancel flight
busy,
following.
making sure he's awake.
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha, Seattle Center, cancellation received. Squawk 1200. Frequency change approved.
Alright. Whoops. 1200. There we are. We're squawking VFR. And now, Crescent Lake State traffic. We're going to be landing on Crescent Lake State traffic. Looks like it's kind of angry. It's not showing the lake or the runways. Let me try this again. Well, we're listening. We'll announce our landing and position. So let's say Crescent Lake State traffic, Cessna 215 Romeo Alpha, 3 miles to the northeast, inbound, full stop landing runway 31. Any traffic in the area, please advise Crescent Lake State. I think that's it right off the nose there. So we're going to fly over midfield, check the windsock, get down to our pattern altitude here of 5,800 feet. That must be Crescent Lake right there. Beautiful area. It should be a paved airport. See Diamond Peak off in the distance there to the west. Don't hear any traffic, don't see any traffic. It's just us. Alright, so we're at pattern altitude now. Yeah, they have yellow X's on the runway, which means that it's closed, and I guess whenever they took the satellite imagery, the airport was not open, but we are going to assume today, for our purposes, that it is open. There's even a helipad there. So we'll go ahead and turn our left downwind. And, you know, maybe that's why it wasn't letting me select a runway on here. Maybe they have it as closed. I don't know. Crescent Lake State traffic, Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha, left downwind runway 31, Crescent Lake State. taxi lights, the mixture a little rich, and we'll begin our descent here. Really pretty out in here though. Run through our descent checklist. Mixture adjust, altimeter set, nav GPS switch set, fuel selectors both, flaps as desired. We'll go ahead and start lowering them now. Descent check complete. Before landing check. Pilot and passenger seat backs most upright position. Seatbelts secured and locked. Fuel selectors both. Mixture rich. Taxi and landing lights on and autopilot off. Before landing check complete. If I can see there's the runway. Okay, I was gonna say I'm not getting good views here with the presets. Couldn't really see where I was trying to go. Beautiful approach here. Looks like we have some trees right off the end of the runway, so probably gonna land a little farther down just to make sure we don't run into any trees. We'll have full flaps. And we'll kind of do a steep approach in over these trees. Make sure we clear them. Looking at 60 knots for our approach speed. And we have permission to land on this closed runway. Down. Welcome to Crescent State. See if I can get us turned around here. And our engine just died. I think because the mixture needed to be a little bit leaned. There we go. Well, that was exciting. Couldn't hold idle. Oh, there's the windsock. I was gonna say I did not see it when we were flying over. It's hidden in the trees. So we had a very slight crosswind from the left coming in, which I could barely even tell there was any wind. It's pretty calm. We'll pull on back down here to the ramp area and get ourselves cleaned up. Crescent Lake State traffic, Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha, back taxiing runway 31 to the ramp, Crescent Lake. And they have fuel here. Excellent. I'm gonna pull up, we'll get us refueled for our next leg. We'll continue south through Oregon and pull up to the fuel farm. And this is where I'm gonna call it quits for today. We'll fill up 100%. If anyone was wondering how you get fueled up, yeah, you just pull up like this and there you go. You can fill right back up. Set the parking brake here. And we'll get the landing lights off, taxi lights off, strobes off, avionics masters off. Gonna turn the transponder off there. And we'll do the mag check to turn it off. Yep, it's off. Beacon off, nav light off, and battery master off. Alright, thanks for flying with me today. Check out the VREF Simmer YouTube channel for the latest videos, tips and tricks, and also these trips that I'm planning around the world. The Facebook page will have the next planned flight along with the Instagram page. Love to have some of you join along live in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 as a multiplayer adventure. But until then, VRF Simmer signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the air soon.